Hey friends, Devin here with Backcountry Exposure. In this video today, we're talking about camping chairs. Specifically, we're gonna dig into the Keyless Gear Grand Peak high back chair and compare it to the Big Agnes Big 6 Armchair. This has been my favorite camping chair for a long time, especially when I'm out on my solo camping trips, but I think I got a new favorite. We're gonna dig into it, talk about it, and why I have been enjoying this Keyless Gear chair so much. Now, this video is not sponsored by Big Agnes or Keyless Gear. No money was exchanged to make this video, and they did not ask me to make this video. All my thoughts and opinions are my own from time spent out in the field with these products. Now, the pack size of the two chairs are very similar. They fold down into a small, compact size, so they're not gonna take up a bunch of space in your car, but they also fold out to be a large chair for a really comfortable sitting experience. What you have in the bags here is a zipper on both sides for the Grand Peak, piece of Velcro that flips open, and you've got all of your contents inside. And similarly, a single zipper with all of your contents inside for the Big Agnes chair. Now, the setup of these two chairs are really straightforward and simple. They don't take a lot of time to put together. They just have a frame system that you unfold and set up and then attach the seat to that frame. Very similar to what you see from a lot of the lightweight backpacking style chairs. But there are the differences in that this is a much larger chair. You've got armrests and you have a high back that just increases the amount of comfort that you get from both of these options. What I really like about this as well is both of these provide a large chair, a really comfortable seating experience, but they aren't so big that they take up a massive amount of space. Let's break down the build of the Big Agnes Big 6 Armchair here a little bit. What you've got is a high back chair with a lightweight ripstop material that's super strong. The build quality of this chair is fantastic. I've had this for about 3 years at this point, and it shows no issues with any wear and tear in those high stress areas of the chair. Just the attention to detail with this from Big Agnes is fantastic. The height of the armrests are great. The length of them make it a good, comfortable seat. You've got two cup holders here for you to put multiple things like your phone or a drink and 2 drinks or whatever. So some versatility that way with it. And then the aluminum frame of the chair is also done really well. Like when you're first pulling it out of the bag, there is a lot going on with getting it assembled. You've just got so many pieces that are kind of flopping all over the place. But once you get it all put together, it makes for a really sturdy, super strong build with the hub here of this center piece of aluminum that everything connects through and makes it for a really strong piece. This is also split here in the middle for it to allow for a little bit of side-to-side articulation depending on what kind of surface you're on that's going to be uneven, which is going to be standard. So it allows for the legs to shift a little bit either direction for it to be more stable. The one thing about the stability of this chair is when you are not sitting in it, this back end is just a huge sail, and the wind catches this really easy, and that's been a concern of mine several times where this is almost blown into the fire, and I've had issues with like, oh my gosh, my chair is gonna burn up. So what I find myself doing very often is putting something here in the seat to weigh it down when I'm not sitting in it to make sure that it doesn't blow over or fly around and such. Now, as I've mentioned, this Big 6 armchair from Big Agnes has been one of my favorite camping chairs of all time. It's very comfortable. It's a very enjoyable chair to sit in, but it's not perfect. It doesn't have everything that I want out of a chair, but the key things that I enjoy about it are a really comfortable seat that is big and wide and allows for movement around in the chair, and I don't feel like I'm being squished as I sit down in it, which is nice. It has a pretty decent recline to it, so I'm not sitting like super upright, and that's pretty often something you find from those really cheap, low quality folding chairs that you get from like Walmart or whatever, and they're not as comfortable as this is. But you also have really good armrests. This is so comfortable to just kind of kick back, put your arms out and enjoy that. And you've got cup holders on each side for you to put your soda, your water, whatever. This also has a good seating height at 20 inches. So high enough off of the ground that it's not too hard for me to get in and out of the chair, but it's also low enough to the ground that I'm not having to worry about instability and falling over and that kind of thing. And it has a good, nice, wide base to it. One of the big issues with this chair though is the price tag that is attached to it. I still can't believe I spent $250 to buy this chair. But the other con with this chair is as I put my head back, my head is going right against this bar that is across the top of the chair to create that top support. And it's not the most comfortable thing in the world. Now I've been using the Grand Peak high back chair for several months at this point. I've had it out on a few different solo camping trips, and I've just really enjoyed the experience with this chair. This chair is also not perfect. There are some give and take things with it that I wish I could in some ways mesh the two chairs together. Namely, that is in the armrests of the chair. This does have some built-in armrests. Here on the sides, you do have a padded piece of fabric here that is extended out, and when you put your elbows and such on it, it does provide a comfortable sitting experience, but it's not that elevated armrest. It's not a deal breaker by any means, but when you compare the chairs side by side, you're being nitpicky between the two. I like the armrests of the Big Agnes more than this, but you still have a really comfortable sitting experience from this. What I also really enjoy about the Keyless Gear Grand Peak is the versatility of this chair. There's more features and options and things that you can do with it that make it a more enjoyable sitting experience. The seat of the chair is fantastic. You have a mesh back on it that allows for good airflow. The Big Agnes doesn't have the mesh back, so you do have that sweatiness happen with sitting in the chair on a really hot day. So that mesh back is really nice. You have pockets on here that also add the ability to put stuff in here, like maybe you're hanging out reading a book and I'm gonna get up and go get in the car for something, then I can put my book in here. The Big Agnes doesn't have that. You do have a cup holder on the right side here. So I got my soda over here and it swings back and forth, so it's not gonna tip over or anything with movement of the chair. And then down here at the bottom of the chair, you also have a third pocket that allows you to put more things in here. But then you've also got your pillow. There's a pillow at the top of the backrest, and that is so nice and adds so much comfort to the experience with the chair. But then you also have an adjustable height with this, and that makes this chair so much more versatile for different people. So let's actually break that down a little bit here and show you those various settings and how the chair is versatile in that way. All right, so the first thing I'll show you is that the legs on all four sides come out of the chair completely, and then I can show you how this works as like a ground chair. So I'm sitting in its lowest position. Now, ideally, this wouldn't be my choice of the use of the chair in majority of cases because I'm as close to the ground as possible and it puts me in a pretty upright sitting position. Granted, I am leaning forward a little bit with where I'm sitting, but if I'm just hanging out in a park or somewhere where I've got good level ground, then that is not going to be an issue. But my butt is still up off of the ground and I'm not having to worry about that pressure that way. And I can still lean back, put my head on the pillow here and enjoy myself. But what I can do is if I want to go in full recline, I just adjust my height of my feet to be at their highest position. And you have three positions of adjustment here on the legs. So I'm gonna put those on the front end of the chair, and I'll just leave my two back legs at their lowest position. And now that's just tilting the chair up and it's making it recline and sit back further which honestly adds so much comfort to the way that this chair sits. It's fantastic. So there you can see the angle of the chair is a bit more reclined. I'll sit down here in a second to show you what that looks like. But also with the pillow here, this has a piece of Velcro that allows for you to adjust the height of it or remove it completely if you don't want it. So depending on your body length, your torso length, you can adjust the height of the pillow to make sure that it is in the right spot for you. But if I sit down in the chair, this is my favorite position, and I think this just makes this chair so much more comfortable than any of the other positions because I like to recline as much as possible. Not like lay down like a lazy boy necessarily, but to just kick back. And I like my feet being a little bit higher, taking that pressure off of my knees. It makes it easier for me to get in and out of the chair as well because the height of the chair is now taller. It also actually helps with the use of the armrest. When the chair is in its lowest position and doesn't have any of the recline going on, it doesn't allow for the armrest to be as comfortable, but because you're kicked back a little bit, you're able to put different angle of pressure on the armrest, and it's more comfortable in that regard with the armrest. So just a little subtle detail that I notice as I'm using the chair. Now we're gonna add one more thing to the Grand Peak here that just enhances the experience with the chair even more. This is a stool slash footrest that you can buy separately with the Grand Peak. This comes in at a price point of $50. So you're $150 for this chair and you're $250 for the Big Agnes chair. So adding $50 more makes this a $200 package. So you're still saving money over the Big Agnes and you get increased versatility with the chair. So this goes together really simply, just has the shock corded pieces for the legs. And now I've got myself a nice little footrest for me to really kick back and just hang out even more. I've just now elevated the comfort of this so much more, and I've added an additional seat opportunity for somebody should they want to sit on this as a stool. And it's gonna handle enough weight, it's pretty comfortable, it gets you up off of the ground, and it is sturdy and strong and all of that in a very simple design. But for a small package, I think that is a really nice value add to just enhance the experience with this product as a whole. Now, another con that I'm gonna point out about the Kilos Gear chair here compared to the Big Agnes chair is the longevity aspect of the product here. Because I haven't had a long-term use of this for multiple seasons like I've been able to do with the Big Agnes, there's one thing that I do have as a concern with the Grand Peak, and that is with an increase of moving parts and things that can fail on it. Even though the chair reclines, it has the adjustable height and everything to make it more versatile for different sitting positions, different heights of people and such. It does equal more moving parts, things that can get lost. You can easily lose the legs, have them fall out of the bag, or you forget to bring them, and now you've only got 3 legs, so you can't actually sit in the chair and you've driven all that way. So it's really important to make sure that you put all of the stuff together and make sure that it's always there. But because you also have those push buttons on the adjustment for the legs, those are fail points as well. You're out camping, you're in the dirt, those are things that can get dirty and have problems, and then maybe they get stuck and you're in a position where now the chair is in a fixed height and you can't adjust those things. So I think it's important to point that out, just because if you're going to use something heavily, you also want to make sure that you take care of it. In comparison to the Big Agnes, this doesn't have any moving parts. Really, the only thing that has concerned me with this chair is here on the back, you have these plastic clips that add rigidity to the seat to make it more comfortable, and they've done really well so far for the 3 years that I've had this chair, but this doesn't have a bunch of other moving parts to it that could fail over time. So that is something to note and for me to point out as a potential con and negative for the Grand Peak chair here. So those are my thoughts of the Kilos Gear Grand Peak high back chair compared to the Big Agnes Big 6 armchair. Now we know there are dozens and dozens, hundreds, maybe thousands of camping chairs available out there on the market. You can pay as little as $15, $20 for a chair and be totally happy and satisfied with that, or you can pay a bit more. It's totally your call and your preference on what you choose to do. These are just two options that are available that I happen to be comparing here today. But I think that this Kilos Gear chair has become my favorite camping chair currently. I love the versatility of it. I love the comfort aspect to it. It just is a chair that provides such a good experience in the backcountry when I'm out on a camping trip, which sounds silly to say, but I enjoy being able to just kick back and relax and enjoy myself when I'm out, because I am trying to disconnect and just have a good time and relax when I head out on a camping trip. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section on which of these two chairs you think you enjoy more, or if you have experience with one or the other, or maybe what your favorite camping chair is. Thanks for watching today, guys. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. Hope you have an awesome day. We'll catch you on the next one. See you later.